Howdy! Today I will be interviewing a financial advisor from Edward Jones. To many, he goes by Scott, but to me, he's Dad. I chose to observe my dad as a leader because he has played such a important role in my development as a leader and just my life in general. He's always been somebody that I can look up to and I can go to him with any problem, and he helps me face it head on and in the right mindset, and he's just always been somebody that I've looked up to. He is always able to inspire and empower everyone around him, and I've noticed that people just love being around him, his presence, and he doesn't reflect, even if he is having a bad day, he doesn't let that interfere with his relationships and how he talks to people, and that's one of the things that I admire about him. So, a little backstory on my dad. He has been a financial advisor for Edward Jones for about 10 years. Before that, he was a general sales manager for Nissan, and he enjoyed that for a few years. He did it for about 11 years, but he didn't ever feel like that was what he was called to do per se. So when he was presented with the opportunity for working for Edward Jones, he jumped right on it, and he has been very successful since then. So he began his career for Edward Jones in 2015. When he first started out, he was basically low man on the totem pole, so he was not necessarily having to prove himself, but he was definitely having to start at a lower level and increase, which is how most jobs are. Even though he took a leap of faith with this job, because he did take a little bit of a pay cut at first, he told me during his interview that he never looked back. He jumped fully in, and he felt very committed, and he was ready for something new. One of the things that he told me in our interview was the best part about his job now is the relationships that he has been able to build, whether that's with his coworkers or his clients or all of the many volunteer organizations that he's involved in. He has made so many relationships and kept those relationships and been able to grow in those relationships on both sides of that. So one of the approaches that I decided to do that I think he embodies very well is the trait approach. Not necessarily that you have to have certain traits to be a leader, but these are just the ones that I think he possesses. So he is very open to feedback, like he encourages it. His BOA, branch office administrator, Margie, they do weekly meetings every week, and they talk about the goals for the week and everything like that. And he is always open-minded. He is a very creative person. When he's faced with any sort of conflict, he looks at it from every perspective and goes in it with a level head, which is one of the things that I admire about him. He is very trusting, and he has built trusting relationships. There was this one time that a client called him, and he was upset because he had just lost some money in the stock market. And my dad, he tried to explain to him, like, you haven't lost it yet. If you would like to, this is what we can do. And he gave him options instead of, getting upset and blowing things out of proportion and stuff like that. So he is able to keep a level head, keep focus on. He has a vision for what he wants what he wants for his clients and what he wants them to be able to accomplish, and so do they. So the COTS skill approach, I would say that my dad has definitely more conceptual skills and human skills, because his job does include a lot of interacting with his clients and his coworkers and other financial advisors within Edward Jones, and of course his big top bosses. So he has to have that sort of human skill, that connection, the empathy, the respect, the responsibility. He has to have all of those qualities in order to have those human skills and conceptual skills. Like I said, he has a vision for what he wants for his clients, and of course they have their own vision, and that they communicate that. It's a very open relationship. It's leader member exchange, so there's a bunch of exchanges that go on. So if something happens with the stock market and a client loses their money, they have that sort of sit down, and they talk about next steps and what they want to do now that they're faced with this conflict or this issue. They face it head on, and he shows them their options, and then they go from there. So he's constantly encouraging feedback from his clients, his coworkers, his bosses. As far as his volunteer organizations go, he is just someone who has always felt in like a leadership position. So he's always felt like he was meant for a great purpose. So volunteering for Operation Care, he told me that he was kind of nervous about taking over, but it was a unanimous vote that they wanted him to be the chairman because of how well he inspires people and teaches people, and just how he is a great leader overall. He shares his knowledge, and he works on relationships constantly with his clients, his volunteer workers, everyone. So a few of the things that I learned from my dad while observing him is that being a leader, it takes desire. Like you have to have the desire and the want to help people. You need to be able to always be sure to assess situations with a level head so you don't mess up and like screw something up permanently. And you need to always be encouraging your team members or your group members or whoever you're working with. You need to be that encouraging voice because everyone needs encouragement. Be creative and look at different perspectives, and always use active listening skills. And that is everything that I learned from interviewing my dad. Thank you.